Welcome to Stealth Talent Live for January 16, 2026, our first one of the year. I'm Phil Rant. I'm the CEO of Stealth Talent.
Is that we're doing intros? Sorry,
I thought, I'm in podcast mode when I do that. So, Brian, would you like to introduce yourself?
Brian Foster, VP of Sales, co-founder of Stealth Talent.
I love it. Katarina?
I'm Katarina. I'm co-founder of Stealth as well as the head of talent.
And we haven't done one of these now in like 3 weeks or a month, and a lot has happened. So we will be diving into a lot of the creator economy news of the month, I guess. But to start off, I'm just getting back from Creator Economy Live in Las Vegas. Did not plan to go until 24 hours before my flight left, and that's when we decided. So, but for those of you who don't know what Creator Economy Live is, it's an event in Las Vegas. A lot of it is structured very traditionally in terms of what these trade show events are: booths, panels, breakout rooms, et cetera, et cetera. What's unique about Creator Economy Live is it's a lot of brand agencies and I would say less of the Coca-Colas of the world and more of kind of like the challenger brands, the mid-tier brands, those kind of things. So awesome. I mean, I got to have a lot of opportunity to talk to agencies that were doing real spends and sharing points of view on where creators are at right now and what pricing looks like and what packages looks like. But is it something where I'm going to go and close a $5 million deal? Probably not. But it was a good show.
We don't need to close a $5 million deal.
I would love to close a $5 million deal. Oh my gosh.
$5 million
We could just retire for 3 months. Yeah, exactly. Have the company funded for a while and we'd be all good. But yeah, Las Vegas is also a weird place to do conventions in general because it's a little too spread out and a little too big. And sometimes those rooms where you go and do an awesome keynote where they're saying really interesting things and there'd be 20 people in the audience in a room that could fit 300. And that's always a little weird.
Yeah, that's awkward.
Yeah.
For the speaker, I'd say that's kind of a bad feeling.
There was a couple speakers that had applause lines where they were announcing something that I think was big to them. And it's, as somebody who is a recovering stand-up comedian, there's nothing worse than pause for laughter and then nothing happens and you're like, now I look like a jerk. What did I do? Yes, exactly. It was good. It was hard to be out of the office for 3 days as we're building this quickly, but great. And we got to talk with a lot of our brand partners that we're already working with and got to talk to Open Influencer there and Ofluence and Later and Mavely and all of these people who are always in our clients' inboxes. And now we get the ability to put a face to the name. So it was good.
Great.
A couple of things to talk about. So, there's another one I forgot to say in the prep area, but I'm in government now, guys. I officially. I've been working with Congressman Ro Khanna and a social media team on getting a Creator Bill of Rights out there. It was announced yesterday, so I was literally getting on an airplane as it announced. So I was kind of like throwing it up on LinkedIn. But it was designed to be a framework by which we start getting people on both sides of the aisle, our friends on the right and the left, and the moderates, to just understand that this is a really big economy and that more than 50% of all of Gen Z wants to be an influencer at some level, and there needs to be rights and protections and regulations in order to make sure that people aren't getting screwed and that America can lead and all of that kind of stuff. So it's a proper Bill of Rights. It's short.
200 million people need to be represented, I think is the number that was quoted in the article, right?
200 million people, yes. That is, and I am still of the opinion that when I see where all of this is going, that everyone's going to kind of be a creator at some level, right? Yeah. Which is already kind of true. Like my 75-year-old parents are kind of creators. They go on Facebook and they talk about this stuff. They're like brand building because they're like shouting out messaging to the world for some sort of value exchange. So, and if you do want to play along, creatorbillofrights.com, you can sign the petition. And of course, you can always reach out to me on LinkedIn, but it's a very nice short framework about platform transparency, and like pretty much when you go to the congressional hearings, there's like 8 things you hear over and over again, right and left, that I think we all agree on, right? You shouldn't be banned for no reason, but also you should probably have health care if you're making money, or access to health care, right? And so having the framework there where we at least have our goals outlined is valuable. So pressure your local representative, your congressperson to sign on to this, because it's super valuable.
Excellent.
Cool. All right, let's talk about the real stuff now, not the selfish stuff. So let's talk about, where do we want to start? I think that it would be worth starting to talk about Kai Cenat and quitting streaming, because that's what everybody wants to talk about. Do you guys have any opinions on the announcement, and how real is this? And
Kai Cenat is a master of what they called clickbait in the most negative way, and using "I quit" from Kai Cenat's going to get you eyeballs no matter what the article is actually about. But what the article is actually saying is he quit kind of second guessing himself into what he wants to do, which is go into this new venture. And that's kind of like where that twisted. But I mean, the guy's an absolute star. We talked about it when we came back from the streamer awards that we saw it. We're just like, no, this is different now. He is on a different level than the rest of the group that was there. And I'm not saying he's better or less, or they're less or anything like that, but he is definitely in this stardom factor right now, or phase of his career.
Yeah.
So go and do it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Stop streaming for a while if you need to. Yeah.
Yeah, I met Kai. Well, I met the entire crew back like oh my gosh, probably 2020 was right before Kai really got his like big hit, and he's what hasn't he done since then? And I feel like when you're at that young of an age, it's like, now you've made all the money that you needed to, you're able to move your family into a better lifestyle situation. Now you're kind of just bored. So like, you have money to play with. Why not start a business or start a fashion line or go fully into high fashion? We can look at like A$AP Rocky, who started out as a rapper and now he's basically the face of everything from walking in fashion shows to actually doing billboard covers all over the place. And he's had an absolutely insane career. But I think when it comes to someone who becomes a household name, especially someone who becomes a household name off of the internet, they want so badly to be mainstream. That is their dream overall, is like, I want to be mainstream, even though I'm a household name at this point. The internet to them is not the same as a traditional talent. And I think, for him, he's only 23, I think, and he literally has his life ahead of him. So why not take a break from all of these streams that you have to be online for a minimum of 8 hours to even really get the traction,
right?
Yeah.
How could how could you keep that up? That's not sustainable. Like,
I've always told my clients that we're in the streaming space is that this is the most unsustainable portion of social media. You're basically taking your 40-hour work week and turning it into a 60 to 80-hour work week. And it's incredibly unhealthy to sit online and have people watch you for that long. I can't imagine like what type of psychological breakdowns we're going to be seeing in the next 10 years now that so many people are doing this frequently.
Yeah, it's almost like David Blaine. Remember, he used to do those magic tricks where he'd be like, I'm freezing myself in ice for 3 days, right? And it was like the length of it that made it impressive. I feel like Mafiathon has kind of introduced that idea to the market of like, oh, I'm going like, I mean, I just did this decades ago where it's like, I'm going to stream my life 24/7.
Oh, right, yeah.
And that hasn't gone away, but it's really about the spectacle of are you able to keep the ball in the air for that long and what's going to happen? And I think that what this quitting announcement does is takes the pressure off of him to no longer have to constantly be doing the next Mafiathon, the next Mafiathon, the next Mafiathon, but more of like an acknowledgement of, I'm a celebrity that can do a lot of stuff. And so you might not see me do Mafiathons all the time, but you're going to see me do other cool stuff. But I don't have to keep, like, how do you get bigger than having, like, John Cena and stuff on your, like, you're kind of, like, you eventually have to pivot.
Rolling in, too. Like, just John Cena walking in, or Will Smith just walking in and sitting down.
Right.
You're just like, But he did do this. He made this announcement even on like a third vlog channel that was like not even used, you know? So it's interesting that
Yeah.
he's really kind of taking it from like not just saying something, but like from the entire presentation of this message, it's like this is
Mhm.
different, guy. There needs to be a change. I think it's fair. Um,
Yeah.
and
Well,
also
Brian, we were at the Streamer Awards together, and he kind of made the announcement a little bit on stage,
I
right?
thought so, kind of. Like I thought that's kind of where it, like the origin of it was, or at least like the announcement origin.
Yeah, because he even said, I think it was like the fourth time he won an award that night, where he's like, and yeah, be expecting this year is really going to be about me building myself as a clothing line and as a brand, as a this. And
And
I
he's going
remember
to
when he said that, my brain went, uh-oh, he's going to do some pivoting this year from like, it's kind of like when Logan Paul finally realized that he was big enough that he should launch Maverick and all that, where it's like, he's no longer a Viner. He's now a different thing altogether, right? So,
Mhm.
so yeah, I wish him nothing but the best. I think it's the right pivot, and I think that if he wants to get to those Mr. Beast levels, eventually he has to stop being seen as a Twitch streamer and start being seen as a creator or as a brand, and that's what this will do. So
He's going to kill it. I think in essence, his whole brand is very stylish, and I think this is whatever movie goes into is going to be a really fun thing, and people are just going
yeah,
to glom onto that. I know
he's
I
a
am.
star.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an unequivocal star. He's charming. He's good on camera. He has proven that he can be good on camera for like I see the same thing in Speed, right? Where it's like
Mm-hmm.
Speed can be entertaining for 30 hours in a row live because he just is entertaining. Like he is entertaining, right? Trish
Wonderful.
Paytas, she is entertaining. You can watch her eat omelets, and there's like it's going to be messy and crazy, and like who cares, right? So
Yeah.
but eventually those people have to be able to like break out of I am a this and instead just be like all I have to do is exist no matter what I do, it's gonna be awesome. So
Hmm.
um so much other stuff that's happened in the past month. Like I feel like I no matter what I jump on, I'm gonna be like there's like 10 other things that we should be talking about. Oh, there's one that I would love to talk about. And we actually didn't talk about this in front either, but broadly AI, I feel like we always have to talk about our AI section, but AI saturation continues growing. Now, XAI got in a little bit of trouble because there was a report about people creating deepfake nudes, essentially, of every celebrity and every whether they're underage or of age. Of course, their response in true X fashion is, okay, we'll just reserve this ability to create deepfake porn for minors to the paid users. It's like, doesn't fix the problem, but cool. You two, as talent representatives, how are we supposed to even look at all like this is speaking to a larger problem, which is this is something these models can do. So whether it's about XAI or anything else, people are going to find ways to do deepfake porn or make people look awful or make people say something racist or like this isn't going away. So what do we as representatives do here?
Damn.
Yes, I couldn't agree more.
What do you do? I mean, all you can do, I mean, I think it's all education from the get-go. I think we just talked about that the first time we were talking about AI, is recognizing what is being fed to you, where it's coming from. Source is very important. But I guess from a talent representation side of it, I mean, it's like you want to use AI to the best of your ability to help you make your life more efficient and better. However, are you going to take it over? Is it going to take over your whole style and your whole content, your whole
Mhm.
video style? Probably not. Or I would kind of like steer them away from all the generative stuff.
Mhm.
But I don't know. Is Grok the AI you mean, like XAI when you say that?
Yes. So
Specifically Grok.
XAI is the parent company of Grok.
Got it. So Grok's not the one that's it's yeah, the AI is the one that's making these videos. See, I didn't even hear about that, but I'm assuming it's doing the same thing that Sora is doing, only on an X-rated level.
It
Yeah.
was like 700,000 generations of deepfake porn an hour or something. It was like a very scary number.
It's embarrassing, right? Like that's gross.
Yeah, it's gross.
I think when it comes to talent and AI, just in general, So I've obviously, like we know, I've been weekly posting. This week was a little different because we've been working on infrastructure here at Stealth, so I've been focused on that and not really focused on creating my own content. But I remember like someone telling me to use ChatGPT to write a script, and I was like, okay, great. Well, a huge problem with AI is that when it first came out, it was like actually learning and developing based off of like what we have done as humans. Now AI is teaching itself, so it's actually getting dumber essentially.
Yes.
So when you put it in, like one thing that I've noticed with the AI tools that we do use is when it responds to something, it is very like third to seventh grade writing level, and I need it to be so much smarter. So I always end up like completely reconstructing how the sentence sounds because I don't write like that. And and it doesn't sound professional to me when I'm reading it. I'm like, I don't know who would write like that, but that's how it's thinking.
There's a brilliant movie called Multiplicity with Michael Keaton, and it's about a guy who's able to copy himself and make clones that's supposed to do all the work, but then he realizes they have agency. And then there's one that becomes a copy of a copy, and that copy of a copy is like so bad, like can't do anything. And that's what AI is starting to remind me of, because it's a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. And eventually it thinks 1 + 1 = orange. And of course it does, because it's folding in on itself.
Yeah, right.
And I think we need, I know that our government is not very interested in actually regulating AI, but I think that 1000% it has to be. When it comes to copying individuals, especially people that are like making money in the sex work space, I'm like, that is their livelihood. And people who have never even like posted themselves naked, like Pokimane and I want to say Valkyrie as well, both had that happen a few years ago. And someone was making hundreds of thousands of dollars on OnlyFans, and they were never able to trace the IP back to a person and actually press charges, which is horrifying for somebody. Yeah. And so I think like it's very important to tie in the political space of why this is important to have the regulation.
Are some of the regulations being like lessened or not really taken seriously because it is somewhat of a financial bubble right now, and the economy looks pretty good with that AI bubble?
But I think that also like I'll give the pragmatist viewpoint and try to be as like an emotional, because I've got a lot of emotions when it comes to this stuff as somebody with like children and works in digital media. But the argument that you will see on the government side is a lot of other nations, not American nations, are being very loose on regulations so they can own the AI future, right? So you can train on whatever you want, you can launch whatever you want, because this is a race for a huge economic outcome. And by keeping America as deregulated as possible, we have a better chance of winning in the future. But of course, then my question is, great. Let's say we win, right? We get the most economic input from AI. We have now won and built a pile of models that are made to destroy and break. And if we have made the most money in a way where it's like, great, black hat hackers can take any credit card that they want. Anyone can make deep fake of anyone that they hate and put it out in the market and blah, blah, blah. We have the most economic opportunity based on things that are going to break the law over and over again. So what I would love to see us do is lead on the AI that we think the world should be creating. Like, we should be over investing in medical AI. We should be over investing in even financial AI, right? We should, there should be a government portal by which AI is able to do your taxes. You just throw in your W-2s and 1099s so that we can save incredible amounts of money on IRS going out and trying to like sue people and reclaim money. Like, if we look at that, we can win on the capitalist side as well as winning on the AI side by building the right AI that people want. And instead, I have a feeling what America's going to do is win the stock market AI battle. And then 10 years from now, we're going to have lost because other people are going to build the more useful AI.
Absolutely. I mean, I have I have issues when it comes to AI being replacing customer service agents. So, for instance, I had a situation, and I think every parent has been here at least once, but my son locked himself in my car while it was running when I was in Florida a few
It
weeks
happens.
back. And I was in literal panic because my phone was in my car and my keys were in my car. So there was nothing that I could like physically do. So I was like, well, why don't I call? I have an app for my car. So I'm like, if I call Audi's app, they should be able to unlock it. Well, they've replaced the humans that used to do the job of, because literally 6 months ago I would call and there would be a human on the phone. It's now just AI. And then when you do talk to them, they wire it to someone offshore. So you're not even talking to someone who actually has access to the app that was built in the US. So I'm like, that's very interesting take because it's to a company. Why don't they save money? And I think that's like the thought process where AI first rolled out. Oh, it's going to take people's jobs, but it's very useful. But I think like on the customer front, it's terrible for us.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, in the long run, quality will beat efficiency because the
Right,
customer
exactly.
doesn't care
For sure.
how they don't care how much a company spent in order to give them the result they want. They just want the result that they want.
Yeah.
So like that's the same reason why so often Temu actually is making good money is because you don't want to spend $50 on a paring knife because if it's just a paring knife, who cares? I'll spend 50 cents on that. I want to spend my big money on like the higher performance things, right? And it's the same way with AI. Like, I don't care if you made a movie and it cost you 50 cents. I want the best movie. And I will spend more money in order to get the best movie because my hours are precious, as are everyone else's, right? And the customer service, I think, is a great example. Cool, you saved $1 million a year. You're going to lose $10 million a year on sales because people are going to hate your brand so much. You're so
it's like
cheap.
checking boxes for the now and not thinking about the later at all. You're just, this is great today, but like you said, 5 years from now, even tomorrow, it's going to bite you.
Right. For sure. I think quality will always surpass the quantity of something.
Of course.
And it's very interesting because like I'm on so many different sides of social media, especially being a talent manager. So one thing that always pops on my For You page is like sustainability and being, you know, how do we beat out capitalism when we're all feeling like we're drowning? And I'm like, we just don't. We just give into it, just deal with it and build a business and call it a day. But that's always been my like MO when it comes to things. And I've actually sat and like listened to so many people that are like, no, this is how we don't need to buy every new thing that comes out. And I think that so many people have been so stuck in the like, oh, the new iPhone's coming out, so I'm going to get that. The new iMac's coming out, so I'm going to get that. Or this new clothing style. Like, people chase that versus, and like I've noticed that the quality of even everyday things that we use, like I had just bought a new set of knives and they're already like completely trashed and they were expensive. So I messaged the customer service and I'm like, what the heck? Why is this happening?
To make, and they got to you fast.
Exactly. Yeah. And so it's interesting.
You got to get more of them.
Yeah. I'm a coffee person. And so I have a Breville, and hands down, I think they're the best coffee machine. I can sell an entire speech on them and do a dissertation. I'm a big fan.
Me on them. They're awesome.
But Ninja and DeLonghi have been running social media and doing so well at it.
Yeah.
However, their products are not good. And I laugh because they've fully convinced people and sold people on this idea that they make better espresso machines than Breville, which is, Breville has a learning curve. You almost have to be a barista to utilize it. I totally get that. The thing with Ninja is press a couple buttons, it makes espresso. And if you're not a coffee person,
Ninja, but also
but if you're not
so easy.
It's for the coffee kind
if you're a coffee snob, you will never use one.
Sure.
Exactly. It's for a specific user.
Yeah. No, and it's just very interesting though, because I'm like, oh no, I have fun like knowing where my beans are coming from and knowing all these different things about it. It's like a hobby of mine. So I'm like, okay, so I understand why Breville would make sense for me, but a Ninja would make sense for the everyday user, even though it's a $600 product. So it's interesting though, because they're selling incredibly well. If you look at their sales on their espresso machine specifically, they're doing really well because it can make an at-home latte when so many people are tired of going to Starbucks or Dunkin' or wherever.
Yeah, and I know we're expanding outside of creator economy talk on this, but I do believe that marketing is cheaper than product development, and everyone's kind of woken up to that, especially in a digital world where marketing has gotten so cheap and effective. And it is incumbent on consumers now more than ever to protect themselves, get loud, become their own consumer advocates. Like, I don't think that it's a coincidence that recently the government decided to disband the Consumer Advocacy Agency or whatever it's called, because I think that is an inhibitor into a true market where you can create something for 2 cents, say it's worth $100, sell it to a bunch of rubes, have them say this is poisoning me, and then saying oops, and then shutting down the company and leaving with millions of dollars, and then doing that over and over again at every level of the corporate chain. And it is our jobs to go out and say, this is not okay, and I bought this thing and I got screwed, and to get lawyers involved and to get everyone loud, because like the free market exists, is completely uninhibited only so long as we are compliant to the free market being as shady as it wants, and we have to advocate for ourselves, right? Absolutely. As consumers and as marketers, frankly, to be able to at least stay a little above the fray when it comes to, if somebody comes to you and says, hey, just tell your creators to scam people out of money, for us to be able to say, no, keep your money. We don't want
Absolutely.
it. That's hard.
And random question to get us kind of back closer to topic. Have you guys noticed that in contracts, most brands are leaving the FTC guidelines out lately?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Because I've been noticing that. I've reviewed like 6 contracts in the last 2 weeks.
Sorry, why are they leaving it out? What do you mean? What's the significance? Oh, just...
I don't believe that the current FTC in its current formation is enforcing those kind of regulations.
They just aren't, unless...
and et cetera?
I think we're in a period of deregulation where it's not cool to follow the law.
So that's what we were talking about with AI, right? The same kind of just loosening those regulations, just padding them a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that it's they're taking on the appropriate levels of risk based on the environment that exists.
Interesting. I think we lost Katerina.
But we can go on to the next topic, which I'm very excited about. And then I would also love to hear what's happening in Stealth Talent. But
I'm back, so sorry.
No,
it
it's
like
all fine.
It froze on my computer.
It froze you on a really nice smile, though.
It did. You were smiling.
Perfect.
Yeah. There's one more that I wanted to talk about before we can get into our personal stuff at Stealth, but I don't know if you saw that YouTube is now, through search, they're making it very clear what is long form and what is short form. And to that I say, thank God, because man, it was like sometimes I just wanted like a long form video I can click on and just have it sit on it for a while. And I would end up in these short form things. I was like, no, that's not what I want my experience to be. So, but do you have any thoughts about how that ladders up to strategy for your clients?
Well, I think the ones that are either specifically short form or long form are going to have the benefit of an actual curated path for each person that wants to see their content, and it doesn't get all mixed up like that. I know people that I'm working with right now are seeing a lot of viewers that are not subscribers coming through a lot of their short form, and I feel like they're getting more subscribers still, just like it was back in the day, through their long form, through doing those little engagement things through a long form piece, right? Like if you see people cutting out at this time of a long form, you add that engagement piece, or you say something, in your script, but you don't have that option in short form. And I don't think long form people see that. So the people that are going to see one, they're going to see that, they're going to see the short form, they're going to see the long form. And I think that this is really going to help those people that focus on either or of those formats. I hope so, at least.
For sure.
Because I know people like Emergency Awesome have dropped down in views due to that, or at least during the rise of the short form. Yeah.
So it's interesting because YouTube actually put out, I think, a couple months ago, and I think we talked about it on here, but they've paid out more in shorts than they have in long form content. However, so I have So essentially I work with creators, just to give preface to anyone watching this, but I work with creators who are primarily on short form and transition them to long form, and there's a reason why. So essentially long form content creates better engagement. It creates what I actually do believe an influencer is. I think most people that spend a ton of time making YouTube long form content have a better chance and more success at doing whatever they want to do and building a business in the future versus just staying an influencer and maybe eventually having to go back to a 9-to-5 job. So I always work the backwards way of you blew up off of instant virality because short form does take off much faster. And then you're now working the backwards way of long form content. And you're mad because you're only getting 500 views on this video, but you have like 50 comments, and you never get that on Instagram. So I always, take note of people spend tons of time actually watching your longer form content. Like the average, if it's a 16-minute video, your average should be around 3 minutes. That's a lot of time when you think of how busy people's day is. 3 minutes of someone's day. 24 hours really isn't that long. Like at the end of every day, I ended up like, oh my God. Yeah. We don't get it all because we have to sleep or we have to take care of like kids and stuff like that. So I think of, I try to break it down in such a minute level of like, hey, 500 people spent 3 minutes a piece on your video, and 50 of those people decided to make a heartfelt comment about you. And I noticed that it keeps most of my clients who are struggling with long form to keep going. But I also tell them, hey, let's do this. Now you're making long form content weekly. Take that long form video and turn it into a TikTok. Like, it takes you not that much time. And I think like as like a social or part-time like social media strategist, I don't fully go into the strategy side of things, but I think with social media strategy, it is figuring out how to do less with more. So 20 minutes of footage of a video can turn into a really nice TikTok or YouTube short or Instagram reel. And then you don't have to spend all that time making all that other content that doesn't really align with what your long form content's going to be anyway. So I've had clients start cutting their stuff down into short form from their YouTube videos, and it's taking off extremely well on their platforms. And they didn't think that was going to be the case. And now they're like, oh my gosh, this is so much easier. Why have I not done that the whole time?
So the experience now, though, I mean, and it happened this week, maybe last week. I mean, it was a very quick change, right? So it's literally just home is all long form now.
Yep.
And then shorts is all shorts. So So now are they concerned at all? And I know YouTube is kind of known for the long form. Are they concerned that going into shorts, this might hinder their growth through that? Because I know they were talking about how they paid out a bunch of shorts money. And
I have a controversial take when it comes to search and shorts. I don't think anybody who's taking the time to search for content wants a short, even if they think they might. I feel like when you're searching, you want a long form video that actually gives you what you want. You know?
Definition and
give me the FYP for shorts. Just feed me stuff when it comes to shorts. For long form, I think search is a long form feature.
That's a really good point. Yeah, and I agree. Sure. I don't like when I searched on YouTube previously to this change. When I would go for, hey, I've got a running toilet, I would like to see the long form walkthrough of this, like what do I need to buy and take all that stuff. And the short form would always pop up and always surface first. And I'm like, this doesn't help. This is just the finished product.
And the short form was always like an 11 Labs voiceover with an animation being like, do you know that a human once flushed himself down a toilet? And you're like, this is not what I want. Stop it. Like, I know it says the word toilet, and I searched the word toilet, but this isn't even close to what I wanted.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think it's interesting because, like, the way that they've changed the homepage of YouTube throughout the years. So, do you remember when it used to be all the people that you were subscribed to only on the homepage? And then they were like, no, we should recommend you other people. So they started doing that. Like, very rarely do I see
recommended Asmongold all the time. I am not talking down to anybody. He is not a person I follow. I do not watch. I do watch gaming content, and I understand he has a big voice in that world, but that's not my lane.
Because they know that you are a middle-aged gaming enthusiast, white man from the Midwest, and as Gold speaks that up, demographically you should, and they want to keep feeding it down your throat until they make you realize what you should like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay,
So,
thank you.
Random fun question. I have an answer for it. I don't know if you guys do, but when you go to search things, do you use Google? Do you use YouTube? Do you use TikTok? What is your go-to search platform?
Good question.
I use ChatGPT.
Yeah, I've been using chat. Yeah, a lot of chat, and that kind of gives me a big like bullet list of things that I can search deeper into. That's what I've been using it for, is like to get me past the initial thought and then deeper, and then I can go down our individual.
And I have my default browser, if I actually search in the URL, to Bing, because Bing gives me a Copilot overview, and it gives me Bing points, which I can then turn into Amazon gift cards. So once a week, I get a $5 Amazon or Starbucks gift card for my searches, and I'm like, that's worth it to me. That's you know,
coffee.
Yeah.
It's a coffee.
That's great. There it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
There.
See, when I'm looking for something that I need to know the answer to, I go to YouTube, and I think that's because I'm a younger millennial. We all like to use.
It's one of my
things.
first search engines, though. I absolutely go to one of the first I go to. Absolutely.
Yeah, I always say Google, which like I really like.
It is YouTube.
It could be DuckDuckGo. It could be whatever you use. But like if it's just a general like bar that you type something in and search. The only thing I hate with Google lately has been their AI overviews of stuff are really inaccurate. So I want to turn it off and it doesn't let me. They took that feature away. So I had it off for a while and then they went away with the feature because they really want to push Gemini, which makes sense.
But I also feel like that feeds into like how you learn and how you want information presented to you. Like I'm a written word person. So I don't think I've ever, and I don't even know if it's generational so much, maybe a little bit because like we are subconsciously trained our whole life on how we absorb information. But because of that, I'm just somebody who likes to read words. And like, so I get stressed out when I'm watching a video and it's not getting me to the words I want. I want to be able to Apple F and find the exact section I want, you know?
Because that's a speed thing too, right? Because you can read at a much different pace than someone's delivering that message.
And I can scan, right?
Yeah.
I don't have to fast forward scan. I can just like if I'm looking up a recipe, I don't want to watch a video of the recipe because I want like, get me the ingredients. I'll get the ingredients, then just get me to the step-by-step, you know?
Yeah.
So with recipes, I have one qualm with that is that they have so many ads on their blogs that it makes it incredibly.
That's how they
hard
make
to
their money,
actually
though,
get
right?
to the for sure.
It's too much.
But it's too much.
You have to
yeah.
scroll like 3 pages to get to the actual recipe.
So
I've been using ChatGPT for recipes too for the exact reason, but.
Yeah,
I have been too. Yeah.
I use TikTok.
Grandma's lasagna.
Yeah, I'll literally use TikTok. There's so many food creators that like actually put their recipes in the bio in their description.
I love that.
Which love that. I don't want to go buy your Patreon. I'm sorry, but I would support you in a different way. But
more power to them for doing that and creating those paths and things like that. But I do agree that I think that stuff's gonna turn up. You know, there's just too much like ad revenue there or ad placement.
Yeah.
Now with AI, are AI recipes going to be a thing, and is that stuff going to start to
already is?
It's already a thing. Yeah,
all over Facebook. There's there are pictures of impossible foods with recipes that don't make sense and ladder up to the food flooded on, and they're always like a bacon potato hamburger, and then you see an AI image of it, and then a recipe that does not ladder up to that picture. It's so bad.
Yeah, that is wild.
Yeah, don't trust anything anymore. Don't trust your eyes and ears. Nothing's real.
We call it AI slop. Do your parents send you a lot of AI slop? My mom literally. It's so bad.
For a while, I was getting those Biden videos of him slowed down, so it sounded like he was drunk, and I'm like, come on.
They were doing a lot with that with Pelosi and stuff.
Come on, you can't see what that is, you know? Like,
oh my god,
they can't. Like that's the thing that I think bothers me the most, and I actually know some of the people that create this stuff, and I have sounded off on them. Is AI videos that are supposed to be like emotionally triggering and therefore get views, like an animal dying or a thing. Like, I have a lot of people who I know in the industry who have come to me and said, Phil, I got the greatest way to get reach. Check this out. I made 100 videos of animals dying and everybody's sharing it on Facebook. And I'm like, screw you. Screw what you're doing. What you're doing is thrashing and burning the industry that you pretend to love by putting out complete garbage that are making people feel worse based on nothing but triggering them. Screw you. And I think maybe I'm a boomer shaking my fist at clouds, but I will feel that way forever.
That feels like PSYOP
same.
To me, though, or eventually could be used for PSYOP, right? Because that's going to be just.
I think it already is.
I know, that's what I mean. It's currently in the process of this, like, just feeding your brain with that misinformation or odd off information that you're confused. What the hell's going on? It's
well, it makes you think the world is something different than what it is. Like, if you see animals dying videos all day, suddenly you're going to think that the whole world is just animals dying. Like, it's Plato's cave, right? We're all like warping our brains to think the world is this fake thing. And then when we step onto the real world, we're going to take those preconceived notions with us. And that leads back to the AI regulation thing, which is like, there needs to be clear tagging on AI videos, and there needs to be a accountability if you're not doing that.
Yeah, because you can't say Portland's on fire, show a bunch of AI videos of people burning, and then you go there and it's just people hanging out and playing hacky sack. You know,
and it's not a free speech issue. You can have all of the speech that you want and everything, but we should know what is real and what is not real. We have the rights as consumers to understand that you are trying to play with me emotionally, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I get very on my high horse about this because I see my industry being attacked and I get emotional about it.
No, absolutely.
Bigger and bigger, and the fact that AI touches every single facet of life right now, that's why it's a very interesting topic that needs to be regulated.
Yeah, for sure. But more importantly, stealth talent news. So, I mean, on my side, the big announcements are Collins and Devin Key, two of our bigger clients. They're grinding on a couple of branded videos. I'm so excited for them to see the light of day because they've been sending me shots from set and they're going to be killers. And they're great brands that they're working with. And brands that have been a pleasure to work with, which thank you so much, brands that are a pleasure to work with, because so many are tricky, and being able to be creatively open and communicative, and like, I can't say enough nice things about I won't reveal who the agencies are now because naturally that's against the contracts, but I will sing these agencies' praises to the ends of the earth and recommend them to every brand because they have been nothing but fantastic.
I feel the same. We've had a lot of business. I've got it up in front of me right now, not giving away too many inside details. Obviously, we're still trying to run a business here, but Katerina and I have been working on our sales numbers. We've been doing really well, so I really want to say congrats to the team. Like, we've really been pulling this together from literally zero, and to see like where things are at right now. And in January, it's looking like going to be our best month yet. But based on how things are working.
January being our best month, that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's
January is supposed to be a bad month.
I was going to kind of bring that up and maybe get a quick impression from you both, but usually that Q4 is really awesome. And I know we had a good Q4, but I don't think it was as busy as I had original or other Q4s have been. Q1 already, this first week, has been people sending new deals. It's like stuff was being held over or something. I do feel that budgets were paused. I have that feeling from a lot of agencies. Yeah.
I've had the opportunity to talk to some of our partners at various agencies in the last 2 weeks, and it's actually very interesting because I explained to them that I felt like everything was slow, and they were like, no, everything was definitely slow. Like, my Q4 was terrible historically. Compared to every other Q4 I've ever had. I want to say I probably grossed like 6 figures on my own. Most Q4s minimum. And this Q4, I don't think I brought like anything in at all. It was just like a big fat zero all the time. This January though, I've had like 6 networking calls with brands, and that's typically unheard of for a January. They typically are in like grind mode, planning mode. They don't really want to talk. I've had brands be like, no, this year we want to work with all of your talent or figure out how to integrate all of your talent. We know who you work with, and I think that that's really great and a great testament on Stealth side is like we've created brandability to where people can recognize and identify our clients versus others. And I definitely feel like this last month has been, or the last couple of weeks have been so busy. I've been sending out a minimum of 150 emails every single day, which is insane. And, trying to keep my inbox clear in January is a weird thing to say because I think January is typically everyone's like cleanest inbox ever for the year.
Infrastructure month.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually the way that I've structured, because I'm a lifelong COO, so I've spent a lot of time making pro formas and projections. Usually from December to January, it's about a 40% dip. So for us to have beaten that means that we've essentially like doubled our business based on that kind of dip, which is crazy. But I agree. I think that there were some global economic forces at play where, I don't know if you remember, but even as early as 2025, people had recession fears. They didn't know what tariffs were going to do to what. And of course, like all fears, generally it's a mix of overblown until it's not overblown. And it turns out we did not fall into recession, and the impact of tariffs were not as extreme in December as like there were people that were like, Christmas shopping is going to be 3x as expensive. It wasn't. Thank God.
Right.
Like we were able to like weather through it. But because people were holding over budget and fears of those things happening, they either had to rush spend at the end of December so that they could have the campaigns carry over to January, which sometimes means giving all the money to the agency and being like, hey, we have to traffic this next month because you just like, I need to spend the money, which is probably where we're seeing some of that bump from. As well as I think people's fears easing up because we made it through 2025 less scathed than we thought we were going to be. And now people are like, all right, 2026 might be a better year than we think it's going to be,
I think it's going to be, and I'm really, really hopeful for 2026, especially for Stealth.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure. Well, also on the community side too, oh my God, like the end of December, early January, which again, that's like premium content behind paywall stuff, everything from Patreon to fanfics to passes to everything else in between. Connor Burgess is running that for us, doing great job. He's such a good operator on that front and has a history of it. And we have been able to reliably bring people into the fold and make them significantly more money than they were before. So that's been exciting to start seeing those deals, like multiple signs a week kind of deals coming in. So I think that's going to be a really strong performer for us and much needed. Same for like Snapchat stories administration and Facebook administration. I think we're just going to be a strong year for that. And we're finally getting the infrastructure in place to be able to start scaling some of those things, which is fantastic. Very excited for it.
Awesome.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll let everybody get back to it. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Thank you all for tuning in. We're going to be back. We're going to make more of an effort to make sure that this is an every week kind of thing. So make sure to be following all of us on LinkedIn and all of the other social platforms so you can check out our updates every week. Awesome.
Thanks,
you all.
everyone.
Bye.